Well, it seems like one common thread is always in these kind of talks, which is I love to help people, I love what I do, and I love serving the community, which is all great. And I'll just go ahead and confess, I like the money. I remember as a loan officer or a real estate agent, people stand up, oh, well, I love helping people. You don't want the money? I mean, aren't you doing it?
That's a great byproduct of it.
Yeah, I mean, and it allows you to create the lifestyle that you want, right? It gives you the freedom to let go of some stress that might be there if you didn't have the money. Okay, so I'm going through this demonstration with us in cash on purpose, okay? Because cash is really nice, right? Smells good, feels good, works in a lot of places. But when you have to let go of it, it's a little frustrating, especially if you have a pocket full of it and it keeps getting thinner, right? So the example I want to use is my wife and I are both professionals, and we do pretty good now because, believe it or not, I'm 65 years old. Yeah. So anyway, it's a good spot to be in. So anyway, so we share the house cleaning, right? The house cleaner shows up twice a month, $160 cash each time. So it was her turn. So she goes down to the ATM, and ATM's $160 cash, and reluctantly turns it over, right? And she gets home, and what the heck, man? You talk about a colorful conversation. What about this dust? Look at the stuff on the couch. Did she even clean the microwave? I mean, oh my gosh, look at the bathroom. It was so frustrating that because she let go of the cash, it wasn't like, oh, David's going to pay the cleaner, don't worry about it. So we actually made history that day, and we don't have that cleaner anymore. So, I mean, it was very impactful. For me, it was funny watching the result, because the cleaner does the same job every time, right? But when you have to let go of the cash, it's totally different. So what we're going to do is, and I can have, so with the cash, we have a lot of fun with it. My wife and I have a lot of fun with cash when we go out. Sometimes we'll tip the server before we get our service. $20 changes everything. When we were at the Westin earlier this week, the guy was helping me out. I wanted to stay late because the grandkids were there, and I want to go use the room. Slide him $20. He goes, oh yeah, well, you can actually stay till 2 o'clock at no charge. Just like that. It's because it's cash, right? So letting go of cash is powerful for us. And then I want us all to, I'd really like you to participate, even if you're not done eating, to get your calculator out on your phone, because it's really a fun exercise. Fun. It's fun for me.
Now I believe you're right, and you brought an actual calculator.
It's a mortgage calculator. Okay, so let's say that your gross salary for the month is $5,600. I think that's fair to say, right? Kind of an average salary. What that means is you're making $35 an hour.
Is that before or after taxes?
Before.
Okay.
Yeah, everything. This is gross, but then we're going to go into the cash. So take $35 an hour times 40 hours on your calculator. $1,400. Okay? So that's $1,400 a week gross before you paid your taxes. Okay? So let's assume that 25% of our income goes to taxes, insurance, health benefits, 401k, right? 25% literally is spoken for before we get it. So we have 1,400 times 25%. It's, okay? Thank you, 350. So that leaves us, now keep in mind that your employer also pays about that much to keep you employed. Employers know that in order to retain good employees, they have to participate in the 401k, the health benefits, the uninsurance employment, the Social Security. So it costs them just as much as it costs you to keep you working there. So let's say that that's a quarter of our income, 25% of our income. If we get $1,400 a week and we get it 4 times a month, that means a quarter of our income, $1,400, goes to pay the taxes, the insurance, and everything else. So that means that your take-home pay is $4,200 a month. So put in $4,200 a month, 4,200 divided by 4. Okay, so 42 divided by 4, it's 1,050. Okay, I put this in a bag with American flag because it's in God we trust. It's cash. This is our week's pay. I mean, we literally get this all the time, but we don't see it. It doesn't flow through our hands. We don't feel the pain of letting it go, but we can certainly tell it where to go, so it doesn't just disappear. So we got all this really cool cash because we did something. We got paid, right? So we have $1,050 a week to live off of. So let's say that you're living in a house, a rooftop, and it costs $3,200 a month to live there, which is kind of normal. Well, let's say that you two live together and you're both participating. Well, yours is $1,600 a month and yours is $1,600 a month. Well, divided by 4, that's only $400 a week. So right off the top, you can just take rent, $400, right? You're the landlord right now, okay? So you got $400 out of my $1,050. So I still have, $650 a week. So I got $1,050 minus 400. So this is for a week. I still have $650. Let's say that the utilities are $150 a month for gas, water, electric, whatever the utilities are. Again, divided by 4, it's really only $40 a week for you, right? So your portion for utilities, $40 out of $1,050. She's got the rent, you got the utilities, okay? So let's say that you have a car payment. The car payment and the insurance combined is $500 a month. Now you might be out of whack on the car payment, but for this conversation, $500 a month for a car and insurance. So we have $650 minus $500 a month, which is $125 a week, because we're doing this for a weekly expense. So here, $125 for the week. Now you're the car person, you're the rent person, you got the utilities. Okay, so we still have, so we're taking away 125. Is everyone with me? Mm-hmm. At least $480 a week to manage. After you paid your rent, you already paid your taxes from your payroll, right? You already paid your utilities, you already paid your car note, and you still have $485 a week. So let's assume that you have a cell phone, right? A cell phone's like $200 a month, which is a fair number. That's $50 a week. Well, shoot, you could do that, right? $50 a week? Yeah, $50 a week for your cell phone. So we still have money to manage, minus 50. That leaves us $475. Let's say that you have a credit card and student loans. Who's got credit card and student loans? Okay. Well, let's say that they're $500 a month combined, which is a fair number. Well, that's $125 a week. So we had 435 left, so 435 minus 125. So we still have $310 a week, cash money to manage. After we paid our rent, our utilities, our cell phone bill, our, what did we pay? Car, thank you. And then student loan and credit cards. Yeah, there's $125 a week. You guys are all dialed in, right? You're not coming after me, you're not calling me, you're not sending me nasty notes. I'm taking care of business, I'm telling my money where to go. Okay, so that leaves $310 a week for fun. So let's just say you have fun 7 days a week. So if you so if you have 310 divided by 7, that's $44, or we'll just call it $50 a week. Or I'm sorry, $50 a day. $50 a day. So let's say that you don't spend any money today. You rode to work with somebody bought you lunch, they paid for happy hours. Like, this is cool, I didn't spend any money today. Well, now tomorrow I got $100 because I have $50 a day. Well, on the next day, let's say I spend, $75, I still have 125 plus 50 for the next day. See how that compounds? So it shouldn't be a mystery of where's the money going. We just have to tell it where to go and know how much we have. Because $50 a day is pretty decent to spend nothing on. Now, what gets me, and it just curls my skin, if I go to the gas station and I see a mom and these little kids and they just start throwing stuff on the counter like chips and donuts and power drinks. It's like, she just spent $60 plus fuel. It's like, are you thinking? I mean, what are you thinking about? Right? Because I don't think people have that much money to just spend. So if somebody tells you that they don't care about money, I'm sure they're going to lie to you about something else. Zig Ziglar. So here's a view of our personal spending plan, and I'm not afraid to share it with you. I have everything dialed in, because what I do is I go online, I go on the banking, and I'll look at the Costco run, and I'll average out the Costco run. This one was 450, that was 300, that was 400, that was 600, but over a month period, and then I go the next month. So my average Costco run to run this household is $740 a month. On average.
You?
No, no, I got a wife, and we have one of those kids at home that never leaves. Utility sucker and food eater. You know.
And on top of that, you go to the grocery store too, though, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and it's in here. I mean, if you want, I'll go line by line. So, mortgage, $2,700 a month. We have a motorhome that costs me $1,250 a month, but we rent the motorhome out. So as long as the motorhome is paying for itself, I get to delete that line item. So that deletes the bottom line here. So if the manage the household is $7,500 a month, if I rent that motorhome out, it's only $6,000 a month. Well, $3,000 for you and $3,000 for you. That's a pretty no-brainer. You could do that and live comfortably. Gas bill, $40 a month for utility gas bill, not gas. We have solar on our home. We have solar. I'm averaging the solar. Believe it or not, my solar is like $40 a month to utilize the house. But I put 75 here for cushion. TV, $200 a month. Car washes. The car washes are automatically. They automatically come out of the household account. But I go to the car wash 4 times a week, and I don't sweat it. I don't like, shoot, man, should I wash my car or not? It's a no-brainer. Right. It's already paid for, right? Car washes are, for both cars, $60 a month. I figured $350 for fuel for both cars. Costco, $740. But then we have Winco for $225 a month. So again, if divide it by the week, if my wife goes and spends $75 at Winco, okay, well, that's right. That's what she should have spent. It's right here. Target, deodorant, hairspray, $75 a week. Well, heck, or $75 a month, I'm sorry. And then we have Trader Joe's, Target, Winco, and Costco. They're all in there, and they're all itemized. Dry cleaning, I just went to the dry cleaning, and I literally told her, I go, this is probably a $50 run. It was $48. I didn't count it, but I just kind of assumed that's what it's going to be for the month. Home Depot, Big Lots, Home Improvement, $230 a month. So we can go and I can buy something and not feel guilty. It's already there. Soft water system, $150 a month. Security, the ADT security, $45 a month. Wayfair, paying for something. Shit just shows up.
Not feeling guilty.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll leave that one out. Got a little bit of medical in there in case that shows up. Water bill, $220 a month. Trash, $25 a month. I love the trash guy. Literally, it's $75 like every 3 months. These guys are amazing. Come and take all your stuff. Insurance, $200 a month. It's already in there. HOA dues, we pay HOA where we live. Pest control. The house cleaner.
That's gone now, right?
Well, we got a different one. That's gone. Wait, what'd you say?
Kids, you got the house still?
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, my message is don't be afraid to write it down and wrap your head around it, because it's not an evil thing until somebody takes it from you, right? And you didn't perform, so you don't get to play. Sorry, man, you're not catching up. So it comes and it goes, right? And it literally comes and goes. So I went out to lunch yesterday with Matt from Edward Jones. He's up to some cool stuff. So we went to tacos and beers, and we ordered our food, and I pull out $50. And his body language, like literally, he was taken back. Like, whoa, I haven't seen a 50 in a long time. I'm like, too bad for you. I mean, and the reason I say that is because we've lost touch with cash.
Right.
We've lost our emotional connection to it. And when you lose it, you don't respect it. It's not really part of who you are, even though you're working for it. You're spending money on something, and he's benefiting from that. We're all in the circulation of cash, right? So if we learn how to have a different relationship with it, it might stick around longer, right? I mean, I've been mean to people, and they just leave. They don't stick around if we don't like them. So really the message is having a relationship with it and knowing what you're doing with it. Tell it where to go before you get it. So like for me, I'm on commission. I've been 100% commission for 25 years. It's a trip, right? People are like, how are you going to make money? I said, I don't know. I'm going to do something. But then I know I can figure how much a commission is going to be before it hits my bank account, right? I mean, within a couple $100.
If you do it long enough, you do that deal. Okay, I'm making this.
Right, right. So it's in the works. Well, before it gets to my bank account, I'm like, okay, and I literally write stuff down, like the budget. And each week is going to be different. Each time you get paid, you might not get paid. I'll go literally 10 weeks without getting paid. It's mind-boggling. People say, well, what's it like to be in mortgage? I go, well, how long can you go without getting paid? Because you're paying attention, right? I know how long I can go. I can literally go 4 months without getting any money, and I could still make my budget work. Well, after that, I'd be in trouble. I'd be, hey, John, can you help me move? We're out. Oh, yeah, we'll go live in the motorhome. So I'm going to share. I'm going to share a secret with you. I'm going to share a secret with you. The money's in wine country. It's literally 5 to 7 miles from here. And Darren knows. He circulates a lot of cash out there.
Yes, I do.
Anybody that wants to generate extra income or look for an opportunity to get lots of cash and serve other people and have a blast, go get a job in the wine country, a couple days a week. You could either be a server, or you could be a setup person, or you could just clear the tables, or you could show people where to sit. Being out in the culture, people come to this community from all over the world, not just SoCal, literally all over the world. And the reason I know that is because I'm working 3 days a week as a wine tour guide in the wine country. So on that vehicle you're talking about, the convertible,
David's gonna be our driver.
that'd be fun. So I'll show up at the Stampede at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I've been in business long enough to know I don't want to collect money. I don't want to pay the insurance on the vehicle. I don't want to pay HR. I just want to have fun. So I got a list of 12 to 15 people that don't know each other. We go to 4 wineries. We have a blast. By the end of the day, they all know each other. We're telling jokes. We're having a great time. And they're walking off like that, giving you cash because you serve them. As long as you serve people, you'll get paid because they want to pay you. It's like networking. When we used to start networking, it's like, well, I don't know if I should go to networking. It's like everybody wants to be networked. That's why they go, right? They go to to get networking. So I'm just telling you, if you want to, like, let's say that you have a liability like a student loan or a credit card or something that just bugs the shit out of you every time you see it. How am I going to get traction on this? How can I pay this thing off and be done with it? Go make some more money. How do you make more money? Serve more people. But I'm telling you, a couple days a week in wine country, change your life. And I've been doing that for, I guess, about 3 years. I'm working my way into retirement. But as far as numbers go, I could literally, I don't have to do any more mortgages. I do mortgages because I like mortgages, and a nice pop every once in a while helps the bank account. But it's not something I'm stressed about because I'm about ready to start collecting Social Security and working part-time in the wine country. And with the momentum I already have, it's a good spot to be in. So if you're stressed about money, which we all have been, sometimes it's an ugly subject. People, I don't want to talk about the money. It's like, okay. I mean, really? When I worked at Coca-Cola for 18 years, worked my butt off, and my wife was responsible for making it work. There wasn't enough money to make it work, but I didn't know that, right? Gosh darn it, how come we can't go to the movies? You know? Or how come we can't take the kids to that fair that showed up to town? It's only like 50, 80, 100 bucks. Well, because you don't have it. You know, it's just a confusing conversation if you're not paying attention. So, all right, well, I don't have much more. Just remember the $50 a day. Because if you get that number down, even if it's 30 bucks a day, and you didn't spend any money that day, now it's 60 bucks for the next day. And if you had 60 and you only spent 30, now it's 90 bucks for the following day, right? You just think about that. You have the money. Pardon? Yeah. Okay, so for $10 prize, I hope you get this right, Megan. What percentage or portion of your gross income goes to pay taxes, insurance, and
25%.
That's right. You raised your hand, but he said it. You knew the answer. Okay, so here's another one. This is our friend Hamilton. Do you want to answer a question for 10 bucks? Okay. Do you want to answer a question for 10 bucks? You're representing the attorneys. You got to speak up.
What's the question?
I'm giving you 10 bucks. Now you're committed. I paid you. So who taught you how to handle finances?
My dad.
Mm-hmm. And you did a good job?
Yeah. I feel like I'm pretty knowledgeable. Also, in college I took some finance courses, so I thought that was beneficial.
Yeah, because a lot of us aren't even exposed to the information. I remember.
Ask me that question. Nobody taught me about finances. I need the 10 bucks, dude.
I remember I was talking to my neighbor one time. We're sitting by the pool, and her husband was a photographer for the high school. He did all the high school photos, and we were talking about money. And at those days, you used to balance your checkbook. I don't know if anyone even know what balancing a checkbook is, but you get all the checks that came back and cleared, and put them against your ledger and make sure you're balanced. So I said, "Don't you ever balance your checkbook?" And she goes, "No, I always just keep 40,000 in there." Well, that's not fair. You're not even on the same level. You know, I keep 40. She could write any check if she wanted to. All right, John, then here's one for you.
I'm kidding. Give it to somebody else.
Okay. Oh. What's your name?
Jacob.
Pardon?
Jacob.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
So here's the question. When you open up your mailbox, are you surprised when an unexpected expense shows up?
No.
No? Okay, well, so maybe people don't get mail anymore, right?
I'm surprised and I'm not happy about it.
Right, I mean, I didn't expect that. I didn't see it coming. So, and we know it's coming. Like, I'll just share this with you, and it's even on video. My wife has a ticket that she didn't pay. So she knows it's coming, right? I said, I told her, I go, if you get pulled over, man, you're going to have to call me. So anyway, so what she's done now, until she gets her next commission check, is she's not buying anything. She goes, I can't buy that. I can't go to Target and get that item because I got to pay this ticket. So she's disciplining herself to where, it's important. And she goes, well, I traded this stuff in, so I didn't really buy anything, right? She took some returns back. But she's really sticking to it. She's not buying anything. And I don't know how much the ticket's going to be when she finally gets to the end. And then, so let me ask you this as a general question. Does talking about finances make you nervous? Cool.
Maybe when I was younger, I will say yes.
Yeah.
Because once it's like you don't have the knowledge, and the other one is because you're not making enough.
Right.
Because when you're younger, obviously, there's not the same.
Yeah, you literally don't have the money.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So that's a change of lifestyle. Whatever that is. The last time I went through divorce, I lived in these apartments over here, right on the corner behind the Chevy dealer. And I lived by myself for 4 years in this one-bedroom apartment. It was pretty freeing, actually. But I would pay attention to, the bills were there, and then I'd put them on this just a little Word doc, and I was just calculated out. This is how much it's going to be. And then when the money came in, I'd spread it all. I was like, whew, well, that was cool. Let me go chase the next commission check. Till finally, and then the other thing that I did was really powerful for me, is I probably had about $35,000 to $40,000 worth of credit card debt coming out of a marriage, and 2 car payments that I was paying out of guilt, right? So here I am paying these 2 car payments and this $35,000, $40,000 worth of credit card debt, and I'm thinking, how am I going to get past this? So what I would do is I'd walk through the car dealer and I'd look at the sticker price of these big trucks. I go, shoot, man, $55,000 for a truck. I got 2 cars that I'm paying for my kids, and that's the same as buying this one truck. So I justified in my mind that I got 2 cars for the price of one. Then I finally went to Dave Ramsey. I cut up the credit cards. I had 2 cards left. I paid them all down. Just thought it was so empowering to just like send the last payment in on that credit card. And they'd say, hey, do you want more credit? It's like, no, I don't, I'm good. And cut it up. So we just keep a Costco card and another credit union. But the credit union is actually a cash card. So here's a cool thing that we did. We bought the motorhome. We intended on renting it out. Very nice machine. They pay $300 a night to rent this thing. They could stay at Pachanga, but they rent this motorhome for the experience, I guess. So anyway, so if they take it out for 10 days, that's $3,000. Plus, you charge them, yeah, all that stuff. So,
Is it the same house cleaner?
yeah, she does good on the motorhome, dude. So what I've done now with this motorhome account, it's through the San Diego Credit Union. So it's called RV Share. It's a website where you give your money to RV Share and they give it to us and we give you the motorhome, and it's all that kind of stuff. Well, this account keeps building up. So now we went to our little holiday this past weekend. We used that account. When we take the motorhome out, we use that account. Sometimes it's like, hey, let's go out on the motorhome. Let's go to dinner. So if you can create another little fun way of generating just a little bit of extra money, it gives you that fun, right? You can go have fun and not feel guilty about spending money from your current liabilities. Jonathan.
I don't know, it's more of I guess it kind of leads into a question, David, that I think that you might be able to shed some light on. But for me, and I wasn't joking around, nobody taught me proper financing.
Right.
The one thing that I did learn growing up with my father was that you just pay for everything that you own. And so that's the way I've lived. Everything that I own outright. I don't have car payments. I mean, I pay rent. I don't own a home, but I don't have a motorcycle. I don't have toys. I don't have a motorhome. I don't have anything that's out on. I don't have credit cards. I don't own a single thing where I owe people money, other than some student loans and some medical bills. But otherwise, I don't owe anybody money, and I feel like that's a great way to live because I'm not borrowing. However, it is quite the opposite. I've run into situations where I have no credit because I don't owe anybody money. When I bought my first home, I got declined. I had to go spend money that I don't own in order to get credit so I could buy a house that I wouldn't be able to own. You know, and so I don't know. I guess to me, your topic about cash, I love it because it's what I do. I carry around a wallet with cash in it, and I pay for things with cash because you're right. It hurts a lot more handing over this paper money than just sliding a card. You know, a card's easy. It's like, wow, it's all good. I mean, what's the comfortable balance that you would give advice to somebody like me, especially as a loan officer who, you know, I would like to purchase a home here in the near future, but as of right now, my credit is just because I don't owe anybody money.
So as lenders, one of the things that we've said over the years is you got to follow the golden rule. And the one with the gold calls the rules. I'm working with a client right now that's trying to borrow $1.2 million. So we're going through the ATR, which is the ability to repay. You got to show them how you're going to pay it back, and that's through credit history. So if you get a gas card, put your gas on the card, and then obviously pay it off at the end of the month. If you go to Capital One is probably the best one to start out on credit, regardless of the rate. Let's say the rate's 35%. They're only going to give you $300 up front to start with. So it doesn't matter what the rate is. The payment's going to be $60, $70 a month. You know, use it knowing that you're going to either pay it off or pay it down at the end of the month. You're really going to get a bigger bang for your buck on your credit rating if you just pay it down and not pay it off. Because if you pay it off, you're not really managing credit, right? All you're doing is borrowing the money and paying it back. So managing credit, just 3 to 4 trade lines, small trade lines. Yes, go ahead.
Also, if you really are against credit cards, you can also do alternative methods of credit history. You can use your cell phone bill and your utility bills, as long as you show, it's 12 months, right? And then they can put that on your credit report and use it as a trade line.
If they put it on your credit report.
Yeah, if they can. So there's a lot of people that I work with that will do that when they have no credit history, because sometimes they say no credit history is worse than bad credit history.
Yeah.
And so that's always another option that you have. But it is helpful to get the credit cards and just keep like a 25 to 30% balance instead of paying them off.
Right, because then you have traction. Because the lenders, the golden rule, the people with the money, they want to know, how are you going to pay this back? You're asking for $500,000 for a $500,000 house. So how do you pay it back? You need to show me your job history, your credit history, and where did the down payment come from? Did you borrow it? Do you have to pay that back too? Or did you actually save it? Or did you pull it out of your 401k, which is totally legit?
David, can I tell? I just want to add on the credit thing. Slight digress, but not really. It's really important. If you have no credit, you have really low amount of credit. Also, make sure that you're not even deeper. You don't know about things that are on your credit report that aren't actually you, because there's stuff like that too. So I would say, if you haven't checked your credit reports, check them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes stuff shows up, they hit you and say, hey, you have that credit or whatever it is, but you have no idea what that stuff is, and you need to get it off, make sure it's correct and accurate.
You know what? That happened to us once with a client.
It happened to me, so that's.
She was gonna buy a house and she had no credit. So when we won the credit, a credit card from Chevron appears, and it was paying you as a $100 credit card, and then it was, every month was on time and everything. And when we asked her, you say you have no credit card, she said, I do not. Well, there's a credit card here from Chevron. I said, it's not mine. I was like, well,
But it was on time.
it was on
Right,
time,
exactly.
so
I might just keep that
for
one.
that only reason she could buy that property.
Oh, wow.
Because that showed some type of history.
How
even
funny.
though
It worked out.
It worked out for her. And
That
she
was
was
not
we tried to track it, but she's like, I don't know how this, that we're on.
Oh, weird.
Just leave it like that. When we close the school, you can use. When that happens.
Leave it alone.
Well, and that'll happen if you have a similar last name and date of birth, and it's just off a little
So
bit.
if you don't want credit, maybe you can try and do that.
I'm gonna look into that, man.
Well, okay, so Darren can attest to this. He used to be in the banking world. You could go into the bank with $500 and get a secured card, right? So how does that work, Darren?
Usually, it's been, I've been banking for a while, but usually how it works, for your business, they'll let you, like Wells Fargo, places that never leave, they'll let you, if you take $500 in and you say, I don't have any credit for my business, but I need to get credit, they'll let you do a secured credit card for $500, right? Now, if you're just an individual like yourself, trying to get a credit card for yourself, it's usually $300 for a secured credit card, and it gives you, it'll establish a history. Rates aren't great, might take a year or two, and they'll actually, if you've been good, they'll actually convert that card into a regular credit card with Wells Fargo. And my opinion, if you can get credit with Wells Fargo, you can get credit almost anywhere. Because they're so strict on giving credit to anybody. And none of the banks are like that, but I find that Wells Fargo seems like they're the toughest. If they give you a credit card, you can almost beat anything because their criteria is so tough. But that credit card they'll give you usually be a 15-month 0% interest, and they'll raise the rate to at least to like $1,000. Now you got a regular credit card, and they'll give you your money back from what you put in.
So let me ask you this though: if Jonathan wanted to get a credit card reported for the credit agencies, and he had a $500 secured credit card, would they report his activity to the bureaus?
Yes.
Yeah, with your own money.
And that's how it builds your credit.
Yeah.
Because they'll look at and it'll show a history that you have. Now you still need more than just one if you're going to buy a house.
The other one that's really works for a lot of people, especially first-time home buyers, is a jewelry account. You go to Jared's, go right through the parking lot, because jewelry they'll give you credit. Yeah, so talk to your.
When I bought the house, the lady told me, go get a Kohl's card.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And it worked. I mean, it did. Because I had previous credit. You know, I bought a car, I bought a motorcycle, but everything was paid off by that point. Like, I didn't owe anything, you know.
So let me ask you this. Based on the information that we shared today and the topic that we're talking about, in your own personal situation, do you think it's better if two people do it together, or do you think it's better if one person just drives the machine and the other person just knows what's up?
I like one driver.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're asking the questions here, David. You're the one instructing.
Well, I was gonna ask that kind of similar question. Like for instance, I know with my family and my wife, we both bring in income and she pays the bills,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then, but like with my parents, they both bring in the income and they both have separate accounts and they both pay their portion, like similar to what you do, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
or what you explained earlier. I mean, obviously you prefer that way. Is there like I don't know. I don't know if I'm asking a question, but
No, I don't
it's
necessarily.
interesting to see, everybody brings in money, but I know what's going on. But when I've talked about, hey, maybe we should get separate accounts, then she gets all flustered, and it's like, well, what's the problem? I'm still gonna contribute my portion.
Well, I'll tell you what.
So-
Let's go with the advantage, not the problem. And I'll say, as a man, right? You're out there pounding the pavement. You're generating income. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You want some money, right? If somebody says, "Hey, let's go have a beer, Jonathan." All right, yeah, cool. I have 20 or $30 that I can spend. So really, psychologically, it gives you a platform of I'll use the word power in a good way, confidence. Like, yeah, I can do that. I don't have to call my wife and ask her if I can spend $40. It really helps the psyche. Go ahead, Darren.
Well, one of the things I always suggest, and this is what we do in my household, I've been married 31 years, is that we have the main account where everything goes in.
Right.
And that's where bills come out and everything, right? We have our savings. And then we each have a checking account.
Mhm.
We can get into, and that's our spending money.
Yeah.
That we did. If I want to go to the movie by myself, I don't have to say, well, let me put money in my wife's account, and that account is mine. I use that for my business. We also have my business account, but my personal account is our personal account. And we can both see the accounts, and we can get in if we need to for emergencies. But we each have our account, and that account does that you do your own thing, like one of my gifts for Christmas and stuff. And she has her account to do her own thing, but it doesn't affect the money for the bills or anything like that. Because if you use that account for everything,
Mhm.
There will be times where,
Mhm.
oops, something will come that you thought was paid. If you guys did on the weekend, you guys went to the movies or went out for the weekend, it'll roll into something that you thought was already taken out, and you'll look up and see, why do I got a $35 overdraft fee?
Right.
You can call the bank and say, well, and you thought it was taken care of. So what I found from experience and working at the bank, you have your spending accounts, you labeling that, give them a name, Darren spending account, whatever you might want, and that's the account you use for your day-to-day. Get lunch, hang out with your friends, anything that's, and you guys maybe give yourselves allowances on how much you guys can
Mhm.
use that account.
Yeah.
Maybe $200 or $300 every 2 weeks or
Mhm.
a month.
Mhm.
You know what you spend, and
Right.
that's the way it keeps everybody honest. Nobody's like feeling like a little butthurt if they say you spend too much money on my
True story. So the money that runs.
I do get that. Hey, you're spending a lot of money. It's
Exactly.
like, well, I make money.
And that's how you feel. And that's how you feel. That's what you say.
So-
Well, I made the money. That's because I'm on it. I don't recover. Right? But if you have an account where you know that's the spending account, you know, you put everything you need to know in the account for the bills. Then you have an account that's strictly for your day to day. Have a beer with the boys after the end of the day. You know, whatever it is, right? And if it gets to a certain level where it's more than what you need, then you stick that extra into the savings in the month.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys know you're saving and money's coming in. That's worked for us because I know
like that.
And that's what we do. This is the household account. We both contribute each month. So if I can get that down to $6,000, I just need $3,000, and you can do whatever you want with the rest,
Yeah.
right?
You can use my method. I'm not allowed to do it.
Right.
Well, it's interesting, like, you know, you two are older
True story.
guys,
True
and
story.
It's just like my parents they're older, and they have that separate situation, and I'm young, I don't have that, you know.
And that's
My
part of
parents
that.
tell me, like, you should do this, and I'm like, well, you know, half of me doesn't want to do it, so it's like.
Yeah, and don't make it an important account. It's not an account where things that need to be taken care of come out.
Yeah.
Right.
It's an account strictly for you to do things.
Blow through if I-
Yeah, we were both single for a long time, and my wife's her deceased husband died probably about 4 years before we got together. We knew each other for a long time prior to that. But, you know, I was living in the apartment, she was living in the condo. We were kind of, you know, trying to see where we land next. So when we got our house, we felt so thankful that we named it the Father's House, because it's a gift. I even put in the concrete, the Father's House. So the file is the Father's house. The budget is the Father's. So this is what we contribute to, and then I get to manage the money that I make, and it's pretty cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you guys are open, I'm curious to hear what everyone else, you know.
Yeah, for
how
sure.
if they
Yeah, and that's actually the question.
Like do you guys do separate, or do you
Right.
have it?
So you want to go around real quick, because that is the question. That's the last question. Who handles the finances at your house, and how does it work for you?
My husband, we do it that way, where he kind of lets me know what I have to spend, because I don't like to do finances, so he took it over.
Yeah.
And he does what you do each month. He has a, it's like a sheet.
So after today, you can go home. I didn't spend any money today, so I get $60 tomorrow.
If you want to pass the microphone around,
Oh, I'm sorry.
do that too, just so we have you guys, good audio.
I just take care of it myself. I'm a single household, so I just take care of it myself.
Me and my fiance, we do it the same way as David. So we have our main account for bills and everything, and we know what's supposed to come out, and we both contribute to that. And then we each have our own separate spending account, which I feel like it's really good for having that independence as well. Because yes, we are a unit together, but having that separate account to spend on yourself and manage yourself, I think that is really important. That works really well for us.
I'm not married, so it's just me. I just handle it myself. But my parents did that, right? So they would have a big joint account that they came together, and then my dad would have his thing, and my mom would have his thing. And as long as it wasn't like breaking the bank, you know, their business was their business, and they were able to do what they wanted. And so I hope, you know, one day if I'm ever in a relationship that becomes, you know, financially invested, that's how I would, you know, go about that too.
I'm actually single, so I handle all the finances myself. But the idea that Darren gave, I actually did like that, and whenever I do get to that point, I think that's something that I would consider.
So currently, and not by choice, but just by where we're at right now and personal reasons, we have my wife and I have separate bank accounts, but we spend the money as if we're just one unit, you know. So like if my bank account's low and I need to pay for something, she's like, well, go grab my card out of the wallet, or you know, and vice versa, you know, just go grab some cash out of my wallet. So once we get done with this, I am interested to find out kind of like, I love Darren's idea. I love that. I think it's absolutely perfect. I agree with you. And but I'm curious about, David, with you having separate bank accounts, or anybody else that does that, you know, kind of what's the end goal there? you know, because it's our money, you know, and that's what my wife says all the time, especially after the past couple of years, pandemic, and, you know, she's in the service industry, so she's been laid off more times in the past 2 years than, you know, anybody can count. I've been laid off. I'm in the marketing industry, so there's been months where it's like, I'm not making an income right now. Well, that's okay. It's our money. It's our money. You know, it all goes to the same good, right? So I'm just kind of curious about that logic in the end game. So we can get to that. But anyways, thanks.
All right, like I already told you what I do. We practice it the other way too, because we've been together 34 years. Initially, it was everybody had their own thing, right? And then I was in the military and I was gone, so a lot of times I couldn't. This is the fact for all the modern stuff you guys have now. Didn't have a lot of the stuff, so I had to kind of give everything over to her while I was gone. And so when I came back, but I find out, like you say, end game is peace of mind for us, right? To know that everything's taken care of. That we even though my wife pays all the bills, we go over the bills together. So I know what's coming and we know what's coming out, right? And so we say, oh, we got to take care of this, we got to take care of this. So there's no history or mystery out of it for any one of us. And sometimes we'll switch off, just give her a break, and I have more intimate knowledge of what's going on and how things are paid. But it's, you know, it just works for me. I mean, I worked at the bank for 12 years, and the relationships I found that seemed to have the most painless thing when people were on the same account was the ones where they had the one account and they had their separate accounts. When people seemed to be a little more happier, nobody was like, "Where's my money?" Because I've had friends who were like your parents, like you, and the husband's like, "Well, I was like, he's like, well, I work. He's a waste management driver and he makes good money, right? And he could when Friday hits, he doesn't even ask what's been paid. He just finds out things are out of the account. What the hell is this? Well, I need that Raider jersey. It was on sale. You know what? It was a plunket or was something. You know, and he'll just spend money and not even ask what she's paid. And they've tried to do that, but they just can't. It's not a workable thing for them. But you have to find what's workable and, you know, see what works for you. So, one last thing before I pass this, I am having a training this week on Wednesday here for the chamber, and I'd love anybody to come by. It's about protecting your finances and protecting yourself. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Darren. So I'm kind of in the same boat with Jonathan, where we have our own accounts. We don't have a joint account, but it's like, hey, how are you doing? How's your savings looking? Oh, it's not so great. Okay, well, I'll get this one this time. But then I also have a company with my fiance as well. So we call it, it's Bird's Eye VR, but acronym is Beaver. So we go, do you got the Beaver card? Because if we're both going to go somewhere, we're going to talk a little bit of business, we'll both pay for it because it's both of our companies. So that's how we kind of do things like that. If we're traveling for Bird's Eye, then we'll put everything on the Bird's Eye card, like the gas, the food, the hotel, everything. And then we'll both end up paying for it, or we'll both end up working towards another gig so that we can pay that credit card down or another contract to, you know, next rung in the ladder. And then I also have two other businesses where one, I only use PayPal. And I have people pay me through PayPal, and I put money into my PayPal, and so I can kind of balance my ledger that way. So that's with my art. And then with the chamber, it's just going into my own bank account. But then when it goes into my bank account, I have like 15% go into my savings every single time. So that savings is always growing. And so I'll always have something to fall back on. But I got to be honest, I don't check my bank account every day. And I just go, oh, there's something in there. Oh, there's something in Venmo. There's something in PayPal. I'm okay. So I do need to budget. It's bad, but I haven't been at a point where I'm really, really hurting because I don't have a car payment. I don't have student loans anymore. Like all that stuff's gone for me. So a lot of it is fun money, or what business can I build next, or what else can I, you know, build with the businesses that I have.
Right.
So
This isn't about hurting. This is about living in abundance.
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't like budgeting because I don't like sitting down with spreadsheets. Next.
It's called a spending plan.
I know, it's boring.
Learn together, Mike.
Well, I already explained my situation with the one account and everything just goes into it, hers and mine. Another question would have is, like you said, with the cash situation and just paying, 10 here, 20 here, or 50 here, but actually having cash on hand instead of card is automatic payments. Actually sitting down and paying it versus just having it come out on the 20th every month or whatever it is, or even writing checks. Who does that anymore? But Yeah, it's yeah, I don't
So with automatic payments, you really lose control and you lose touch. It's just like we were talking about, the letting go of cash is way different than sliding your card. So on an auto pay, like let's see your cell phone's on auto pay. You don't even see the bill, right? You don't see anything. So you're not really managing, you're just kind of like.
I know it needs to be in there.
Right.
And it's there, so then it just
and so
goes.
they asked me on my mortgage, do you want to go pay for this? No. I want to see the balance go down. I want to pay more sometimes, and I want to get the statement. Same with the Costco card. No, send me a statement because I want to see what I paid. I want to see what was spent. I want to see how much is owed, and I'm probably going to, pay them more. If it was on auto, it'd be like, I'm not having any control, and I mean control in a good way, not in a bad way. I mean, you're managing your finances. So. For me, I don't agree with auto pay, but there's a lot of things I don't agree with in today's world, like, I don't even want to start.
So do you have like a big filing cabinet that you keep all your statements in? Like,
Well, that's funny you would say that, because I do. But I shred, once I pay one, I shred the old one.
Yeah.
Right? But, with the world we live in, with the electronics, with the Google, with everybody's on their phone, I mean, they're telling us how to live. And they're taking away our identity. We're just like robots, and so.
We were robots before that. Even our generation, when we were younger, like, I look at the advantage of something because I remember some of the stuff like when I was starting, like I was in the mortgage business, like even the very beginning, and I remember the sheets being triplicates, and if you made one mistake, you have to toss it out and start over. So when it came on the computer, it's like.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm just talking about our psyche that's being pulled in different directions based on what we're being told. So, go ahead. We've got 9 minutes. I'm sorry.
So, I'll try to touch on a couple of those things. I get alerts on certain things to make sure that the payment went through. Certain things I know are important to try to keep me aware of things. But sort of the opposite of what you said is my wife is the spreadsheet person, the get in there and pay attention to all the daily things, sees every charge that happens. Okay, and then but we split in the sense that I take care of long-term things. So if it's so every retirement account, there's multiple. I easily have like 20 accounts, and
Did you say 20 accounts?
I easily have 20 accounts between different retirement accounts, different things. My kids' accounts, like, because I've set them up with their accounts. They have their own checking savings. We're about to start their IRAs this year because they got their first full-time job. All of those accounts are joint though, because it's Darren, right? What Darren was saying is that 20 years in the military, my wife needed to be able to get to things, and so we learned that the first time I left, and she needed access to everything. So sometimes there's a reason to make sure they have access to everything, and so she has all that control, so that she could fix things if there was a problem.
So that's a good balance. She's managing the daily, monthly, but you're got a bigger vision.
Absolutely, yeah, and even to that extent, the only accounts that we do keep separate that we're not allowed to touch, and this happened probably maybe within the last 3 years, maybe not even that long. She likes to save, so she has an account and certain money will go there. I like to invest, and so certain money will go there. And sometimes she'll tell me if she has some leftover. She's like, well, this was more than I planned. You can have this for your savings, and just tell me when you take it out. And then I'll move it over, and then I'll go invest it. And then I don't touch the other money to invest with. Otherwise, I would invest it all because I just go a little too crazy. But so that's probably the balance that we have that's similar to that. But.
So I'm not married. Oh, I keep thinking that the second microphone's gonna be loud. So I'm not married, so I take care of my own financials. But whenever the time does come, I do like the idea of having 2 different accounts, just so, like Darren said, if you ever want to go get Christmas gifts or birthday gifts, they're not seeing it.
I said happy hour.
Yeah. That too. Yeah. So, I mean, Yeah, so I see the purpose in both, but I personally think that I would want to keep them separate.
Perfect. Well, I'm divorced, so when we were together, separate accounts, we didn't have any issues with money. I was always taking care of the loan, the bills, and all that. But as some money, I think we have that freedom. Like each account was separate, and we didn't have any problems. Right now I have 2 accounts, personal and the one for my LLC, the one I use for, traveling, whatever I need for work, that's what I use for taxes. And yeah, that's what I do.
Awesome. Well, there's one person in the room that doesn't have any money problems.
Oh.
Yeah, who handles the finances at your house?
I'm single, so I just do it myself. When I got my car loan, the person that was helping me with that was surprised with my credit score because it was like too new. I had like 800, like over 800 points score, and I was like, oh my God, okay. So give me a Cadillac. And she actually told me that. That's when I knew that you have to use your credit. You have to make payments on time and pay debt off, so as much as I can. That's what I've been doing, but I do use credit for investing on my own business and just other things. I don't have cash, like paper cash. I always just use Apple Pay or credit cards or debit cards, but I don't like to have change, like my pockets with I don't know. I feel like I'm more used to just digital money now. Yeah, but I love all kinds of money, bills, anything, you name it.
So
there you go.
This to you, would you take it?
I'll take it right now.
You can say you fully against it. You can say just like it in his pocket.
I have a question.
use
I guess,
Venmo?
too.
The only thing I don't like is that money's not in my pocket right now.
So based on the information we shared today, does anyone have a different view of cash than they had? I'm sorry.
Well, Megan had a question.
Oh, yeah.
Cash is king.
Yes.
Cash. We always say cash is king. I don't know. I have a weird relationship with cash money because of crypto coming out now and crypto treating me really well in the beginning. Right now we're down.
Everything's
but
down.
we're coming back. I do business in crypto. We get paid in crypto. We have contracts in crypto. Almost all of our joint investments with my fiance and I are in crypto. So instead of me having like a big savings account with a lot of money, I have a big crypto account that goes up and down. It's really volatile. When it's up, it's great. When it's down, it's sad, but it doesn't hurt if it's down because it was fun money to begin with. So I don't know, my relationship with cash, like my dad always had cash. He always give us our lunch money in cash. Like what we always had. He would piss off the lunch ladies with the $2 bills. So I don't know how I feel about it because I'm so digital. So
Yeah.
I like having it, but I cannot have it too.
For sure.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's the world we live in, right? So for me, I wanted to go back to basics, and the Dave Ramsey philosophy is literally they would take envelopes. Here's the house rent. Put that money in the envelope every week. Because in the old days, everyone used to get paid every week. Go ahead, Jonathan.
My home.
Yeah.
I have a rent envelope in my fire safe. I've got, Christmas envelope in my fire safe. I've got, whatever other things come up. Vacation.
I tried that, but like you said, everything's just digital. Like you have to go to the bank and pull it out and then put it in, an envelope, or what we tried was one of those folders with different sections, and it just ended up becoming too much work, and we just went back to just doing the bank account
I use
situation.
cash as like a scavenger hunt. I hide it for myself, so when I find it, when I'm cleaning, I get rewarded.
Yeah.
I do my laundry, I find $20. Yeah, I'll hide it in my desk. I found $100 and it's awesome, but it's
It's
also
so cool.
And it wasn't yours. It was the
Well,
other apps.
I'm trying to train
I don't know.
myself to be more clean too, because I have Megan piles everywhere. So if I hide money for myself in the pile, then maybe I'll clean the pile.
So,
I'm a messy person.
so regardless of our approach, our management of finances, money's always going to come in and money's always going to go out, right? It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. So it could be crypto, it could be investment, it could be money you never see, but the message is pay attention. So pay attention to your money before it leaves you, because you won't know where it went. And it's very frustrating when you don't have money. I've been there way too many times. Matter of fact, as a grown adult, responsible person, I sat down with Darren a couple months ago, and he offered me this product that I thought was really reasonable for the coverage. So if something happens to me, my beneficiaries will benefit. Or if I get sick, like let's say I get hit in the parking lot or disabled or something, I think I got a benefit.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, thank you. But it's not that much money.
You get robbed in the parking lot today.
Yeah,
That is an accident.
We got a witness. I was carrying cash.
Yeah, don't flush your wallet anymore.
Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, David.
All right. 1:30.
I hope to see you guys next week at my training.
Is it like the same time, same place?
11:30, it'll be 11:30, and we'll provide lunch.
Is it here?
It's here.
Okay, cool.
So it's me and Kyle Garcia are giving it. I'm giving you on ways to protect your assets. If something happens to you, like say an accident side, and he's telling you what assets you might need for long term, for retirement and stuff like that.
Is it for the young professionals or is it for all?
Everybody. Everybody can come.
This is, correct me if I'm wrong, this is your guys' only event, it's not a chamber function, right? So anybody can come.
So make sure you have your insurance.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
David?
I did take care of that. Yeah.
It is on our calendar, so if you go to temecula.org and hit events, so it's July 13th, 11:30 to 1:30, and it's the Greatest Asset Workshop, July 13th, right here in this very room. And always go to our calendar and see what we have going on, because you can filter by ribbon cutting, which there is one today, so thank you, Jonathan, for mentioning that, at Margaritas.
No, where's ribbon cutting?
It's at Margaritas on 2nd Street in the Truex building in Old Town. Yep. Yeah, so that's at 3:30.
Oh, 3:30?
Or
You said
excuse
you
me,
had a
let me double
$50
check.
allowance, right?
Hang on.
I can go.
3 o'clock, not
I got you.
3:30.
Okay.
3 o'clock. So it's at 3 o'clock to 3:30.
We'll cover you.
And there's a bunch of fun stuff. If you're a member and you have an event, either you're VYP member or TVCC, and you will have an event, you can add it to our calendar as well. So please feel free to go through the calendar. There's community events, chamber events, all the above. And then we do have Roy. Do you have your camera still?
Yeah.
Okay. We would love to get a group photo of you guys all together. If we can do it outside, that's probably better for lighting, right?
What's that?
Probably better outside for lighting.
And if you're not a member, there's plenty
Or
of
do you like it
events.
in here?
Yeah.
Do you like it in
Yeah.
here? Okay, cool. So I'll turn the projector off, I'll raise the screen, and we can all go to that side of the room. Get a quick little group